Oh,
I'm saying I am a person.
maybe I will must say we must more power more and in the money.
I'm not more for when I got Auntie Alabama. One of them,
Not your panel.
me and no catch me say,
Well, boy, I'm funny.
oh,
I don't know about having me.
what's the company in it by her? And to me, by no Lubisa, me say,
There's so about how no more. No, me, me, wa.
why am I? Go for me, don't meet my way more. I'm not more her. Then it is a no lady come by first information. Baby, say I must say, you know, when you're not, I told me.
Let's say I didn't know, say, you know, I remember.
Information minister.
Now, Betty is in an improved woman, so I can't have the other than go maybe.
So, yeah.
Unless
But that should more.
Oh,
On your roof.
Oh, no,
you say me so much. So you put in the body and yet you know of a car.
I leave.
Omukobomu. Mukobomu. Even though I'm over to I live in one house. I don't so we next go back. Ogusa I'm saying them 10 minutes.
Hello? Why even episode? Young people don't know the room before. Get off. Young weapon. But the one of what I say, I know who the thought to say, so the ones to be to me. Yeah, Namina, and I'm saying, I know and
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, boss, we can hear you.
Anyway,
Find somewhere to park. I'm on my way. Have you already done your video training for before the session?
No, I thought you handled that one too as well. So if you like, I can start with that.
Yeah, just start with that right away while I try to find somewhere to park.
All right, no problem.
I don't think there's sound, Shafi. You may want to share the sound. There's no sound. Shafi, your video has no sound. Shafi, can you hear me? Hello, Shafi.
Hello?
The video has no sound. You're not sharing the sound.
So, okay, let me just stop it and start sharing again. Yeah.
oh, okay.
Please, is it okay now?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great.
Stacy? Stacy, you here? Babe, I got your message. I'm not sure I completely understand what it means.
It means what it said, Frank. It's gone. All of it. Everything we worked so hard for.
$650,000 doesn't just disappear. There must be some kind of mistake.
There's no mistake. It was hackers. They took everything. Who are you calling?
Our real estate agent.
Don't bother. He stopped returning my calls. And the escrow companies told me the same thing 15 times. Wait for law enforcement.
Michelle Sanders, Cybercrimes Task Force. The escrow company brought me up to speed, but I need to get as much information from you as possible.
Absolutely. Anything we can do.
For starters, can you tell me if you got an email requesting you to change the wiring instructions from your lender to the escrow company?
Yes, I got one like that a couple days ago from our real estate agent.
May I see it? This is it, the smoking gun.
Are you sure? I mean, look at all this information it contains. Information only we would know. And it was sent from John Waters, our agent. This is his email address right here.
I know it looks like it was sent by your agent, but really, it was sent by hackers. They hijacked your agent's account.
They can do that? Actually send an email from his account?
It's a 4-step process. I can walk you through it. In step 1, the hackers use something called an email extractor, software you can buy off the internet, that enables them to collect email addresses for thousands of people working in a particular industry. In this case, the real estate industry. Agents, brokers, escrow and title officers, anybody with a real estate related extension in their email address got targeted. Step 2 involves the hacker sending a phishing email to the thousands of addresses they just harvested.
Phishing emails. I've heard of those. They trick people into opening them and clicking on a link or opening an attachment.
And the hackers only need one agent to take the bait, and they're in. Then it's on to step 3, research. They learn everything from listing addresses to sales prices to loan amounts, escrow and title company names, even full account numbers. Finally, in step 4, the hackers use this information by sending an email to the home buyer telling them to reroute funding from their lender to a new fraudulent account. And since the hackers are actually inside the agent's email account,
The email looks legit.
these people are smart, sophisticated, and their methods are constantly evolving.
So how do we protect ourselves?
By not trusting email that requests you to send money or wire funds to a different account. Any email like that must be treated as suspicious and must be followed up with a phone call to verify its authenticity. I'd encourage you to contact your lender and ask for a wire recall. It's a long shot since several days have passed, but it's worth a try.
Well, is there anything else we should be doing?
File for bankruptcy immediately.
Bankruptcy?
Our loan went through, meaning they're still going to expect payments on a home we don't even own.
What about our old house? What happens with that?
Ownership has already transferred. That deal is unaffected by this.
Well, we can't afford to stay here. So where are we supposed to go? What are we supposed to do?
I'm very sorry.
Ah.
Okay, I think this okay, or should play it once more? Okay, let's play it once more. Whilst-
Stacy? Stacy, you here? Babe, I got your message. I'm not sure I completely understand what it means.
It means what it said, Frank. It's gone. All of it. Everything we worked so hard for.
$650,000 doesn't just disappear. There must be some kind of mistake.
There's no mistake. It was hackers. They took everything. Who are you calling?
Our real estate agent.
Don't bother. He stopped returning my calls. And the escrow companies told me the same thing 15 times. Wait for law enforcement.
Michelle Sanders, Cybercrimes Task Force. The escrow company brought me up to speed, but I need to get as much information from you as possible.
Absolutely. Anything we can do.
For starters, can you tell me if you got an email requesting you to change the wiring instructions from your lender to the escrow company?
Yes, I got one like that a couple days ago from our real estate agent.
May I see it? This is it, the smoking gun.
Are you sure? I mean, look at all this information it contains. Information only we would know. And it was sent from John Waters, our agent. This is his email address right here.
I know it looks like it was sent by your agent, but really, it was sent by hackers. They hijacked your agent's account.
They can do that? Actually send an email from his account?
It's a 4-step process. I can walk you through it. In step 1, the hackers use something called an email extractor, software you can buy off the internet, that enables them to collect email addresses for thousands of people working in a particular industry. In this case, the real estate industry. Agents, brokers, escrow and title officers, anybody with a real estate related extension in their email address got targeted. Step 2 involves the hacker sending a phishing email to the thousands of addresses they just harvested.
Phishing emails. I've heard of those. They trick people into opening them and clicking on a link or opening an attachment.
And the hackers only need one agent to take the bait, and they're in. Then it's on to step 3, research. They learn everything from listing addresses, to sales prices, to loan amounts, escrow and title company names, even full account numbers. Finally, in step 4, the hackers use this information by sending an email to the home buyer telling them to reroute funding from their lender to a new fraudulent account. And since the hackers are actually inside the agent's email account,
The email looks legit.
these people are smart, sophisticated, and their methods are constantly evolving.
So how do we protect ourselves?
By not trusting email that requests you to send money or wire funds to a different account. Any email like that must be treated as suspicious and must be followed up with a phone call to verify its authenticity. I'd encourage you to contact your lender and ask for a wire recall. It's a long shot since several days have passed, but it's worth a try.
Well, is there anything else we should be doing?
File for bankruptcy immediately.
Bankruptcy?
Our loan went through, meaning they're still going to expect payments on a home we don't even own.
What about our old house? What happens with that?
Ownership has already transferred. That deal is unaffected by this.
Well, we can't afford to stay here. So where are we supposed to go? What are we supposed to do?
I'm very sorry.
Okay, so let's go to the quiz and quickly leave this place. Whether at home or at work, when making a wire transfer of any amount, do the following. Check all that apply. Whether at home or at work, when making a wire transfer of any amount, do the following. 1, never rely on one source of communication to verify a wire transfer. Can we check that one? Never rely on one source of communication to verify a wire transfer. Can we check that one? Hello? Hello, guys? Are you all here?
Yes, we hear.
Okay, so we are going through the questions. So how can you help me answer the questions? It says whether at home or at work, when making a wire transfer of any amount, do the following. You check all that apply. 1, the first one says never rely on one source of communication to verify a wire transfer. The second one says if you know that the email address that the wire information is coming from is legitimate, it is okay to send the wire. If you know the email, if you know that the email address that the wire information is coming from is legitimate, it is okay to send the wire. The third one says any last minute changes to wire instructions should be assumed as fraud until they are proven not to be true, extensively authenticating the person receiving the wire and ensuring it is legitimate. Any last minute changes to wire instructions should be assumed as fraud until they are proven not to be through extensively authenticating the person receiving the wire and ensuring it is legitimate. The last one says create and follow callback and verification procedures, you find a unique way to verify the authenticity of the person you are sending the wire to. You create and follow call back and verification procedures. Find a unique way to verify the authenticity of the person you are sending the wire to. So guys, which one do you think we should check? Is it the first one?
The second one, and then the last one.
We are checking all that applies, whether at home or at work, when making a wire transfer of any amount. Do the following. You said let's check the second one.
If you know
If
that
you
the
know
email
that-
address
Mhm.
is coming, it's legitimate, it's okay to send the wire.
So we're legitimate, it is okay to send the wire. And then the last one, you create the follow-up call back and verification procedure. Find a unique way to verify the authenticity of the person. So
Yeah.
Okay, the third one, we should leave that one, and then the first one, we should leave that one.
For me, I think the third one too can be used, but the legitimate ones are the ones I chose. I don't know about any other ones.
Okay, any other answers from the other participants?
I think the first one too is valid.
We should check the first one, okay?
Yes, and
So-
then for me, the second one should be unchecked rather.
The second one should do what?
Be unchecked.
Okay, and then any other thing?
And the third one.
And the third one. Okay,
Yes.
so any other answer? Are you all okay with that? Can we complete the quiz? Okay, let's complete and see. Okay, so it's a pass, 100%. Thank you guys for helping us to go through the questions. Okay, so boss, we are here. You can take it from here.
All right. Thank you very much of you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
All right. So today's threat intelligence is going to be extremely hands-on. You're not going to see any PowerPoint presentation or anything like that. So we're just going to be discussing how we can actually prevent unsolicited email. The video that we just watched, you could tell that there were some emails that came through asking the victim to actually change a last-minute bank account details and what have you. If they had an email filtering system that was actually available, it would have prevented such a thing from happening, because what we saw in that video meant that somebody pretended to be another person. They tricked their way to get these people to believe. I believe whoever was actually leading them to buy their house, their email address was tampered with. And so the email came as if it was that individual that was sending the email to them, asking them to pay the money to a different account. So there's something we call spoofing, or actually change your email ID to make it look like it's me. When such a thing happens, if you're not careful to actually study the email address to see the differences, you might actually fall a victim. And so that's actually an appropriate video for the conversation we're going to have today. I'm even surprised that that's the video that we've got today. So with this presentation that I'm going to make, email filtering system is a system that makes sure that when an email is being sent to a particular person, the filtering will actually look through it and make sure that the email is actually coming from a legit source. And there are so many emails that come to us that we don't even want. They're unsolicited emails, the ones that goes to our spam. This tool also helps us to avoid such emails. You find marketing people making their way to actually get you to buy a product or a service that they have. And so long as they have your email address, they'll begin to send you stuff that you don't need. You realize that your inbox is full of a lot of emails, and maybe the only important emails that you have in there may be one or two. The rest of them are all junk emails. So if you have a tool like this, it also helps you to prevent such emails from coming through. Also, this same tool, you can tell this tool to actually block certain emails from certain people. If you actually have an encounter with someone and you don't want to receive emails from that person, the same tool also helps you in actually preventing that person from sending you an email. So we're just going to run through this real quick and I'm going to do 1 or 2 demonstrations to actually show you guys how this tool works. And then after that, if you have any questions, you may ask. This is something that you would find a cybersecurity analyst doing at a particular company. Their main job will be to be managing a tool like this. The major softwares in the market are what you're seeing now. Sophos is one of the major software that you can find. If you've also heard of the software named Proofpoint, that is also another software that does the same thing or the same application that actually prevents emails that are not solicited to an organization to be actually stopped. So per what you see on my screen, I'm actually going to explain what we have here. And then after that, I will try to do a few demonstrations of how this works. So you're seeing the main dashboard that is actually telling us, it's telling us that over the past few months, if I actually check the number of days you can see here, actually over the past 1 month, so the last 30 days, this is what we're seeing. The last 30 days, Software Freak organization has actually had about 8,249 emails coming through. And all these emails were scanned. So all these emails were scanned. So this number of emails that came through were all scanned, meaning that none of this email came through without the software checking if the email was coming from a right source or whether it's coming from a wrong source. So every single email that came through the organization was actually checked by this tool to make sure the email is coming from a proper source. And then when we move to the next one, it says potential threats identified. So meaning that after it looked through the 8,249 emails that came through, this software identified 3,149 emails that were coming from questionable sources, that were coming from sources that were questionable, sources that the tool did not trust. And its way to actually block those emails. It found its way to actually block those emails, and that's what we're seeing here. And then the mailbox that you're seeing, forget about that one. That one is actually telling us how many mailboxes are supposed to be protected at a time. So that one is not really necessary. And then also on the other hand, emails that were leaving the Software Freak network, emails that were leaving the Software Freak networks in the last 30 days. That's what we have here, meaning that in the last 30 days, there were 4,488 emails that were sent by Software Freak employees, everybody within the Software Freak network, all emails being sent out of the Software Freak network, all combined together in the last 30 days are 4,488 emails. And out of those 4,488 emails, there were about 16 emails that were being sent out that were questionable, meaning that where they were going to actually had some question about them, where those emails were directed to. There was a problem or there's a question with that. This last 30 days that we have, I can change this to the last 7 days and it will tell me how many emails have been received and has been sent. If I click on the last 7 days, you see the numbers are actually going to change. So it's saying that in the last 1 week, the last 7 days, these are the emails that we have received. These are the emails that has questions on them. These are the emails that we have sent, and there haven't been any email that was sent that has an issue. If I check the last 24 hours, that was yesterday, say between now and yesterday, these were the emails that were received in the last 24 hours. We had 324 emails coming through. And out of that 324, there were about 134 emails that had some questions around them. And then also, when we check the number of emails that were sent out in the last 24 hours, emails that have been sent Software Freak network going out is 188, as you can see on there. And if I want to check today so far, how many emails have been sent, received, and all that. Received so far today is 176. 66 had questions around them, and then we have also sent out 55 emails just today. And so that's what this whole dashboard actually means. Now let's just go straight into the reports as we have here. So inside the report here, we are going to see the emails that may have actually come through. You can see we have where we say is the email security logs, and then down the report here, we have message summary and people that are at risk, the time to click summary, data control summary, post delivery summary, and then also license usage summary. Now, what we're going to be more interested in is going to be the message history, meaning that the emails that have come through, whether any one of them were quarantined or they were actually made through, and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to click on this one, and it's going to actually tell us every single email that have actually made it through the network. We are seeing them here. And for those that were not allowed you will see that they were quarantined. So there was an email that was meant for me that actually got quarantined. I mean that when I go check my inbox, I wouldn't find this email because the software saw that this email probably has an issue. And so it did not allow me to receive that email. The same thing if the video that we just saw, if they had a tool like this, and then the person who was pretending to be another person sent that email, they may have not received the email at all in order for them to even transfer or change the bank account where the money was supposed to have gone to. That actually caused them the whole problem that they had. If they had a tool like this, the tool would have actually quarantined the email. Quarantining the email means that it would have held on to the email and not allow the end user to receive the email. So if she hadn't received the email to actually make the changes, there wouldn't have been any problems. But the moment she received the email and believed that it came from the person who she believed had sent the email, was the reason why they had that issue. And so if the tool like this was there, it would have actually prevented that from happening. So here, as you can see on my screen, the software sees this email as one that is not coming from a legit source. So it's actually held on to it and it didn't allow me to receive the email. But one may ask, what if the email was coming from a legit source and the software actually held it from coming through? There's a way around that. If this email, I was actually expecting it and the tool held it, quarantined it, thinking that it's coming from the wrong place, I can actually go into the system and then have it released. And so if you are in an organization setting where you are working with, say, another company somewhere else, and there are some emails that are supposed to actually come from that company to you for you to be able to complete a few tasks, somebody from that end will reach out to you and say, hey, I sent you an email, have you received it? If you check your inbox and you haven't received it, you can confirm back with the person that, are you sure you sent the email? If they say they really did send an email, then what you can do is on the security side in your company, you can reach out to the security part of the company and then tell them that you were receiving and you're expecting an email from a particular sender. You can actually give them the sender's email address. Say, I'm expecting an email from this sender, this is the email address. The title of the email should say XYZ. And that email is supposed to be coming to me. But for some reason, I haven't received the email. I've asked them a couple of times. They've confirmed they sent the email. I still don't have it. So can you check in your email filtering system to see if probably the system has actually held it? If that is the case, then the security analyst who you are speaking to can actually go into the system and then have the email released to you. And when that email is released, that email will now come to you. So at least this is actually a check that helps organizations to make sure that emails that are coming through are actually properly scrutinized, because that's one way that a cyber criminal can actually get people to do stuff without having to go there physically. If a cyber criminal wants to get people to actually do stuff for them, they don't necessarily need to come to your building to actually come ask you to do it. If they're trying to hack into your network, they don't need to do that. All they have to do is to actually cook up some simple and then have it sent in an email with a link. That is where we normally have what we call the phishing emails. You receive an email that will say that you have won a laptop and you are supposed to click on a link so that you can actually prepare to receive that laptop, or we can prepare to have you receive that laptop, or you've won lottery, and in order for you to receive the money, you need to click on this link so that you can provide those for us to be able to send you the money. This is urgent. If you don't do it quickly, you might lose the money. When you see such emails and you're not smart enough, you might think that this is an opportunity that's coming to you that you quickly have to grab. Cyber criminals are really smart. They actually would cook up an email that will make you feel like you're earning or you're actually gaining something. And the moment that happens, because as human beings as we are, even though you don't deserve to actually have a thing like that, when something like that is presented to you, the greed in us will actually push us to quickly want to rush in getting such a thing without even thinking. We are always quick at actually trying to get something that is too good to be true. And so when such a thing is coming to you, the greed in you would actually surface, and then you quickly want to click on that link to be able to actually get whatever it is that has been cooked for you to actually fall victim of what a cyber criminal is looking for. So if you're not careful enough, you might click on that link, and after clicking on that link, Sometimes they may ask you to provide certain details like your passwords and all that. They call that password harvesting or credential harvesting. If you're not too smart enough, you might actually be providing all your credentials to a cyber criminal. Many a times they just ask you to click on the link. And when you click on that link, what happens is there is a malware that will install on your computer system without you knowing. The malware will install on your computer system without you knowing. And then at the end of the day, when you click on that link, it might tell you maybe the site that you're trying to access is down, come back later. I mean, it will give you some funny excuse like that, and then you would have to just leave it and probably thinking of coming back again. But what has really happened is there has been a malware installed on the computer system for which you actually were using. And that malware, if you're not lucky enough, sometimes may be the kind that will give the cyber criminal the capability to be able to see your computer system, meaning that they have access to see whatever you're doing, just like the way I'm sharing my screen right now. If there's a software that can allow me to share my screen for all of you to see, then there's also a software that cyber criminal can actually cook up and then have you sharing your screen without you knowing. You will be sharing your screen that you don't know that your screen is being shared. Somebody sitting elsewhere is actually monitoring your computer system without you knowing. And then whatever you're doing in your system, whether you're transferring money from one point to the other, chatting with family and friends, whatever it is that you're doing, that person could be sitting in their homes and monitoring your computer system 24/7. And then they can actually do this over time. And later on, if they want to pretend to be you, it's going to be easy for them because they have all the links, they know all the things that have been going on with you for the past 6 months, the past 8 months, they know everything that's going on with you. So they can actually pretend to be you and can even now reach out to friends of yours and be asking them for loans as if you were the one asking them for that money. And before you know it, that person has actually put you in trouble. And so this is what this tool can do for you. So the report with the quarantine I just mentioned, you are seeing it here. If the email also made it through, you will see that it will say delivery successful, meaning that the email actually got to the final destination where it's supposed to go. And there are times if that email address has been blocked in the system, it would actually say delivery failed or delivery was actually deleted, meaning that the person was actually asked not to allow this email to come through. And that's what we're seeing here. We have the people and then we have the mailboxes. I don't think that's important because these are the number of people that are within the organization and the number of mailboxes that we have that are within the organization. So any new person that is actually onboarded onto a Software Afrique network, we need to create a mailbox for that person so that that person's mailbox could be inspected with this tool. This tool needs to be able to inspect it. If the mailbox is not created inside this tool, that person will not be able to receive emails that are coming from external. So we need to create a mailbox for that person so that that person will be able to have their emails inspected, whether it's coming in or going out. So that's why we have the mailbox. The people are the number of people that can actually log into this tool and then access it. That's what it means for those two places. And then we are going to move on to the quarantine messages. In the quarantine messages, this is where every email that was supposed to have actually made it to the final destination was blocked. So an email that was supposed to have made it to a final destination that wasn't allowed to go through, this is where it comes to. And you can see here that it's saying that this is actually ranging from February the 28th to today, March 6th. That's what it's saying here. You can actually extend it back as far as you want. And then you can actually see, so if somebody's asking that an email was supposed to have actually been sent to them, but they never received it, sometimes you can ask them on which date was the email sent. If they're able to provide you with a date, you can come in here and extend the date to whenever they said they received the email. And then based on the email sender they give you, and then also what the message says, you can come in here and confirm. So if the email that the person said was coming from such a person, they give you the person's email address, you put it here. So the email is coming from this person. And then where's it going to? It's coming to me. If you know the person who's supposed to receive that email address, you put that person's email address here as well. And sometimes, if you also know the subject of the email, you can actually include that here. And then when you click on search, that particular email address will pop up here. And if it pops up here, you have options. Let me show you what the options are. So let's assume that this very email was supposed to have been sent to me. And then for some reason, that email has actually been blocked. And so when I come here and I'm saying I'm trying to have this email released, these are the options that I have. After selecting the email down here, you realize that all this part highlighted. This part has been created now. But the moment I select any of the emails, you will see that it will be highlighted after I select. So I'm going to select the email that I want to release to myself. I'm going to say I want to release this email to myself. And as soon as I did that, you realize that all this place has actually been highlighted. The first part that says release, the meaning for the release means that this particular email that has been sent to me, I want it to be released, just this particular email. It doesn't mean that subsequent emails coming from this same sender will be released to me. I've only released it, meaning that only this email should be released to me, and that's it, case closed. That's the meaning of the term released. But if I come here and I say release and allow, what this means is that going forward, if this individual sends another email to me, it should be allowed to come to me without having to go through this process again. That is what the release and allow means. So there's a difference between the two. The release alone would say, release only this email once and for all. Next time when this person sends the email again, we'd have to go through the same process again to have it released again next time. But if I do release and allow, I'm saying that when this email is released now, next time if the email is coming to me again, we should allow this email to come to me without anybody coming here to actually have it released. Now we have the delete. The delete also here is saying that I want this email to be deleted, this very email to be deleted, and that's it. Next time, if the email comes again, it should be quarantined. It shouldn't be deleted. The other one, delete and block, will mean that I want this email to be deleted, and this email address should be blocked so that in future, if this person tries to send me an email again, that email will be blocked automatically by the system. I already allow the system to actually get this through. So I have just explained what these ones are. I'm going to release this very email so that we can see in my inbox whether that email is there or not. So I'm going to just open my inbox, and you can see that the last email that I received is actually these ones. Now, these are the last emails that I received. I'm going to go back in there and then have this particular email released. Let's pay attention to the email address of this very one. It says what? mike@fastfundinghub.com. That's what it is. And then the title of the email is increase pre-approval for March, whatever, as you can see right there. So I'm going to do a release, and we'll give it like a minute, and we'll see whether it would actually appear in my mailbox. So let me just do that right now. I don't want this to actually come back next time, so I'm not going to do release and allow. I just want to release it once for the purpose of this class, so you guys can see. So I'm just going to click on release once, and that's it. So I just click on release. Let's give it a minute. And as I did, I said, well, message was released. So meaning that in a few moments, that email should actually pop up in my inbox. But while we're actually waiting for, okay, so there it is. That's actually been released. And if I go up, you see that the email is actually right here. It's coming from the mike@fastfunding, as you can see right here. And then if you remember, I was reading the title as, the subject, increase pre-approval for March, whatever. So as I release it, you can see that that email has actually made it in my inbox because I just released it. And that's what that means. All right, so basically, this is what this means. And I'm going to pause here. If anyone has any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, I'm going to demonstrate to you how one can actually block an email. I'm going to have an email blocked from my private email box. And then after that, I'll have it released, and then I'll test that email, and that'll be the end of the session. Any question for me before I move on? Going once, going twice. Okay, no question for me. I am going to move on. So let's just assume that there is an individual person who has been pestering the organization for some time, bombarding the company with emails, or the director has actually reported to the cybersecurity team that there is a particular person who has been sending him an email that he doesn't want to receive emails from that person any longer. And so you guys should find a way to block that person for him. The director came to the cybersecurity team and said that to them. So what the team would have to do is they will first of all ask the cybersecurity director or the director of the company the sender's email address if the director knows it, or if there is a last email that the director received from that person, the director can tell them what the subject of the email is. And the moment they know the subject, they can find the person's email address in the system. So let's say they have the email address of the person, the system, the director has provided that to them. So now they will have to go straight into settings, And inside settings, they will go to inbound allow block. That is what the cyber security analyst will do. When it comes to the inbound block or allow, there is the add function right here. They click on the function here. There is allow and there's a block, meaning that you can actually allow some email address to be able to send email to the company, or you can block an email address to avoid them from sending emails to that company. Here we have a scenario where we've been asked to actually block a particular email address. But the director is telling us to block a particular email address that we're actually going to block right here. So I'm going to do this is an email address that I have, and I'm actually going to have a block. So it says McDews at Yahoo 2001 at yahoo.com. So this email address, I'm actually going to try to have it blocked. If already in the system, it has actually been either blocked or allowed in the system, as soon as I try to say save, it will tell me that this particular action is already there. So I can do override, meaning that I can override whatever was there before, and then I'll let this current action take place. So let's see if this email address has already been blocked in the past. Otherwise, we would override it if that's the case. So let me try and save this and let's see what happens. Okay, so you see, it's telling me that this particular email address has already been either blocked or something has been done to it. It says or already exists. I'd like to override it. So it could have been that this particular email address already exists, saying that it should be allowed emails to come through, or it already exists in the system that says that it should be blocked. Whatever it is that's in there, the system is telling me already. But now I've been given the chance to override it, meaning that the current action that I'm trying to take now is what I'm asking it to take place. So I'm going to do override duplicates. And when I do override duplicates and I click save, the current action which I'm taking now, which is to block it now, is what is actually going to take place. So I have actually have it blocked. I've blocked it now. Now I'm just going to pick up my phone, which you guys can see, and then I'm going to send an email from that particular email address, the Yahoo email address that I just blocked. And then let's see whether that email will make it. And if it doesn't make it, I'll let you guys see what it says in the system. So I'm actually going to send an email to the Software Freak network and see whether it will make it there. So I'm going to send an email to my own self in there. And then I'm going to try and send that email to it. So I've just selected the email address and I'm saying that I want to send an email to that. So I'm cooking up an email. And I just selected the email. The title of the email is I'm going to do threat intelligence March 6. So that's the title of the email. Then I'll just say Happy Independence Day to everyone. Happy Independence Day to everyone. So this email has actually been created and sent. I just sent it right now. I'm going to give it a minute or two, and then we shall check inside our mail history to see whether that email made it into the inbox or not. So we'll come into the report right here. Inside the report, every email that has been sent is inside the report that we're going to see it. So let me quickly go into the report here and check message history. If that has actually arrived yet. It hasn't arrived yet. Let's give it a minute or two. And then we shall check to see if that email has actually arrived. Okay, it still hasn't arrived yet. It takes a few moments before it does. So while that is happening, I'll just also ask if anyone has any question while we're waiting for that email to arrive. And then we can see what is happening to that email, whether it's been blocked or whether it's been allowed through or whatever. But in the meantime, does anyone have any question for me while we're waiting for that email? This email is taking quite a long time. Any questions for me? Okay, no questions. Let's keep seeing. It's taking quite a long time. All right, so while that is taking a while, we can be checking other things like why we need this software for companies actually have them, and if you don't have them in your business, what this actually could be doing for you. Many organizations have this tool and has actually prevented them from a lot of cyber attacks because they don't get emails that are not supposed to actually make it into their network. To mention that some of the cyber criminals have what we call what they call it, credential harvesting. Credential harvesting, if you're not careful, what will actually happen is I could come up with.
Because I think Daniela's hand is up.
I can't see, so she can ask the question. I can't see the hand.
Yeah, so Daniela can go ahead.
I only have one screen.
Hello, can I be heard?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. So I understand the whole concept of suppose, but I wanted to ask a question. So let's say I bank with EcoBank, right? And then I have a problem with my ATM card or something. So I decide to send them an email to their support center. So do you think they have something in place that is going to analyze my email before they release it? And how would they know that I am a customer of theirs? I just want to know, because I'm imagining the number of people sending emails to them and everything, asking for assistance when their server is down or when their service is down or something. That's what like, isn't there a way where they can allow their customers like emails to bypass this whole security thing?
All right, good question. And I don't think I have seen banks encouraging their customers to send them emails rather than phone calls. I think what the banks normally do is they rather would ask you to give them a phone call. If you check on your ATM card, behind it, I'm sure you would see that they would say if you have any issues, there's a support number that you should be calling, rather than asking you to send them email. And the reason why that is the case is when you call them, they need to verify that you are really the owner of the card. This is why when you call them, they'll be asking you a number of security questions first. They would ask, okay, if you're saying you are the person who owns this particular account, first of all, what is the phone number that you have on the account? You provide that to them. They will tell you there's supposed to be a 6-digit code that would appear on your phone. And you give that 6-digit code to them. In fact, what they're doing is, even for them, they don't even have access to your account yet until you provide them with that 6-digit code. So maybe they have a system where the system will say, if a customer calls, ask for the customer's phone number. If the customer provides their phone number, enter the phone number into the system. Now, the next step will be, there should be a 6-digit code that you have to enter into before you can even access the customers or the client's page. And so the 6-digit code will come on your phone. If truly you're the owner of the account, you should have that 6-digit code and provide it to them. When you even provide it to them, it doesn't even end there. They'll even go further to ask, can you provide us with the last 4 digits of your ATM card or even the account number to show that you are indeed the person who owns this account? And then maybe finally they might ask you, can you tell us your first name and last name? They go through all these processes to make sure that before they can actually give you any kind of assistance on the account that you're calling about, they have verified that you are indeed the correct owner. So to answer your question, I really haven't seen that happening that much. I don't think the banks encourage people to send them emails to actually verify and then go ahead and then release your account for you with just an email. And if there's any bank doing that, that isn't right, or going to be doing so. If you send that email to them, then they probably should have your email in their system already to say that this is actually the registered email address that they have on file. That way, if email is coming from that particular email address, they can actually have that email address in their whitelist account or in the list of emails that they have whitelisted, meaning that any email coming from that particular email address will make it through without it being bounced. So if that is what they want to do, that is if they want to solely go by email, then they probably will take all the emails of their customers that they have on file and make sure all those ones are whitelisted so that when emails are coming from those email addresses, they could make it through without it being blocked. But I don't really see banks doing that. Rather, they will prefer that you call them so that they can go through all the steps that I just took you through to verify the individual who's trying to reach the account and make sure they know that the person who they're responding to has actually authenticated themselves, and then they can go further to actually get services that you're looking for. I don't know if that helps answer your question.
Okay, let me put it this way. You see, you mentioned that an email can be found, right? And then the recipient of the email would have to reach out to the team for them to put the email and all that. But what if, let's say, I'm on the internet, I'm trying to get into this, like I see a job site and then I decide to make inquiries by sending them an email, right? The recipient of the email or whoever is in charge of that mailbox doesn't know that I'm making inquiry. So it means their email is never going to get to them in the first place. Like the person is not aware that I'll be sending them an email. So how do they get the email that is going to get to them? Since they're not aware that we send them an email.
Now you've asked a different question. Okay, good. So the security team would also have a routine check where they'll be checking quarantine emails on a periodic basis. So they'll come into the quarantine messages and then they'll be reading the subjects to actually check if these are emails that are supposed to have made it to their inboxes that for some reason they have been held. So let's say if the title of or the subject of that email is supposed to be applying for a job, maybe the department head of that particular HR who is supposed to be receiving these types of emails would actually speak to the cybersecurity team and say, hey, we've advertised for the public to be able to apply for jobs with us. And there's a possibility that some of these job applications might be held by your security tool. So if you don't mind, periodically check all the emails that are coming through with the subject. Maybe the job title is sales rep job. That's the job title, sales rep job. So the cybersecurity team is responsible to be checking the quarantine emails. If there are emails meant for the HR that is supposed to have been an application for the job that has been held so if there's such a thing going on, then the head of that department will have to let the team know that there's a possibility that the tool could be withholding some emails that are meant for that particular purpose. And so then they should actually have them released. So yes, the security team has, as part of their responsibilities, to be going through the quarantine emails periodically to see emails that have actually been made available for them. And then if that email is supposed to go through, they will actually have them released. And so if that's the case, there's something like that that's the security team is supposed to be doing on a periodic basis where they make sure emails that were supposed to have been meant for somebody else, that the tool saw them to be a threat and withheld them, that should actually be released and have them go. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. But one last thing. I just wanted to know, you see, I was thinking of ways of the cyber attackers getting into organization. So let's use this job advertisement thing as an example. Fine, they are advertising for, let's say, software or UI UX designer, and those jobs application you have to add your portfolio or maybe GitHub or something, and it's a link. You think an attacker can use that as an opportunity to put in a malicious intent for the recruiter to click on it, and then for him to install the app on it?
Can you ask the question again? I think I'm not getting you.
I was trying to say that I was just thinking of ways that cyber attackers can get into an organization. So let's say Google is looking for a UI UX designer, and then in the application we are asked to include our link, like the link to our portfolio or GitHub or any other thing, like the link to our works, right? And I'm saying,
okay, so you're actually applying
using the but the cyber attacker is using this way to get into the organization's network or like to hack them. So by including his links to his portfolio, I don't know how maybe we're going to do it, but we'll find a way to install that malicious website. So sorry, add that malicious link to it. And when the recruiter clicks on it, it rather installs the malicious website on his laptop, and then the hacker gets in. Isn't that a way of getting into the system?
Yes,
and then
it's actually a way.
If it's possible,
finish your question.
Can identify that.
Yeah. All right. So to answer your question, have you actually tried to pick up a link that was sent to you through email before, you realize that the link has actually been rerouted to Sophos. And when I send you a link through email and it comes to you and you receive that link, the link doesn't take you straight to the site where that link is coming from. Sophos actually reroutes that link to itself. So if you click on that link, Sophos will test the link first to see if it's a malicious link or if it's a legit link before you can actually gain access to it. I'm saying this next time, if you get a chance, check it. I don't know if there's any, okay, maybe this might be one that I can actually try. If while I open this link, right, if I actually do a right click on this to actually grab the, no, I don't think I can do, but if it was supposed to be like a clear link that was coming through, was just a straight link that was coming through. If you copy that link, do a right click, let me see whether I can copy this link. I can't copy it, but if, okay, right here, I think I can copy this right here. If you copy this link and then you actually open Notepad, I think it might not even give you the straight link. It might give you through Sophos. Because I think that I wasn't allowed to copy the link, I believe. Okay, I wasn't allowed to copy the link. But the point I'm trying to make here is if there's a link that has been sent to you, you're supposed to click on that link to actually use it for something else. You realize that the link would actually take you through Sophos first. It would actually reroute the link. And it's unfortunate I can't really find a very good example to give you. I don't think this one will give me like a good example for it. Let me try and see this. So, let me see. It might not give me exactly what I'm looking for. Select the hyperlink and then maybe copy it. Let me try and bring this here and save it. Yeah, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to copy a link and then show you, but I'm not able to do that for some reason. I don't know why. But when I override, you see it. Do you see that it actually takes you through? Can you see what I've just done? It doesn't take you through the link itself. It takes you through Sophos.
Yeah.
When I override, do you see this? Yes, it's taking you through Sophos. So meaning that it's not giving you the link to the site that you're trying to go straight because Sophos has already touched on this. And so what Sophos is going to do is now Sophos is actually going to make sure when you click on the link, Sophos will be the first to check if the link that you are trying to get to is malicious or not. And if it's malicious, it will give you a page that says that this is malicious, don't go there. Or even give a warning, this site you're about to hit is malicious. Do you want to proceed? If you still say yes, then it's up to you to actually proceed if you get phished. But then if you listen to what Sophos is saying and you pay attention to it, then that's where we know that there's an issue with that. So to answer your question, if the applicant who's applying for the job and pretending that they're showing us their work by giving us a link that is supposed to actually demonstrate the work that they've done, if that link is a malicious link, Sophos will not allow us to go through. Or Sophos gives a warning that this page you're about to access is a malicious page. Do you still want to go ahead and do so? If you want to go by the risk, you can say yes. If you don't want to go by it, you just stop because Sophos is telling you that the link that you're about to get to is actually a malicious one. Does that help answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So back to where I was before. I think the email came, and I'm going to show you guys the email. So this is the email that I sent. This is the email address that I sent my email from. And then you can see right here, it says that the email has been deleted, meaning that I wasn't allowed to receive this email. This email was not allowed to come through. And as you can see, it says what enterprise blocked, meaning that that email address has been blocked. And so every email that I'm going to send from this particular email address, and it doesn't matter if I'm addressing it to anybody within the Soft Afrique network, anybody is not going to make it through. So it doesn't have to be just me. But if I'm sending to just anybody within the Soft Afrique network that actually is in the mailbox here, it was not going to make it through. So we have just seen that it has been blocked. I'm going to now release it, send the same email again, and then we'll see whether we'll receive the email or not. That's what I'm going to do last, and then that'll be the end of our session for today. I think 1 hour is almost done, so I'll just want to end here after the last demonstration, and then that's it. So I'm going to go in here, go back here, And then this time I want to do what? Allow. I want to allow that email address. I want to allow it this time. So I'm coming here and I'm going to do allow. So I'm going to do Matthews again, as you can see here. And when I try to save, it's going to tell me because it's already there. It's going to say I should override it. So as you can see, and I'm going to override it and I'm going to say allow this. I'm going to pick up my cell phone again and I'm going to send another email to that same email address. And then let's see whether I'll be allowed to have that email go through or whether I'll be blocked from actually having that email going through. So I'm going to just pick up this and then do that. I'm going to say Happy Independence Day as a subject. Happy Independence Day. Independence Day as a subject. And I'll say Ghana is happy. Case close. And then I'm going to do send. And just like the way the other one took a while before we saw it here, let's give it a minute or two. And then we may see that email either coming through or being blocked. It might take a few minutes before we see it. So while we're waiting for that, if anyone has any question, we can have that answered while we're waiting for that email to come through. And maybe some other time when there is slots on your schedule, Shafiu, I probably will take this up and then we'll continue with doing some DLPs on these ones. And DLP is sending emails out of an organization that you haven't been given permission for. It's like you're stealing an intellectual property for an organization. This into helps us in doing so. So because of time, I'm just going to end my session by waiting for this last email to come through. While we're waiting for that email to come through, if there are any questions, we can begin to ask them right now while we're waiting for that email to come through. And as soon as that is done, at the end of my session, and like I've said, if there's time on my side and then on your side too, in your schedule, we probably may schedule another time. I can go through the DLP as part of SOFO's continuation for the same presentation I've just had. Let's see, this email is back here. Okay, so the email is still not here yet. I mean, you know, the first one took a while before I saw it, so let's give this a minute or two. You can see it. So before Daniela asked a question, I was actually trying to make a point. If there's no question, let me make the point real quick. I was saying that you would find some cyber criminals creating a website that looks like a website that you already know, like a bank. So a cyber criminal could create a website that looks exactly like the way EcoBank's website looks like. And then maybe instead of the name of the site being ecobank.com, they could make it ecobank.co or ecobank.ca or ecobank.org. But if you're not smart enough, you might think that this is coming from EcoBank again. And then they could send you an email knowing that you are a customer of EcoBank. They could send an email saying that they realize that your password that you've been using has reached its time that you have to reset it. And so this is a link that you click on it, and that link will help you to reset your password. So you click on the link, because you've seen that email thinking it's coming from ecobank.org. You see ecobank.org, I think it's the Ecobank that you know. Maybe the original Ecobank email will be info@ecobank.com. Maybe that's the original email. But this time we are seeing info@ecobank.org. But because you're not being too attentive, you might not see the difference. You might not think that this is coming from a malicious person. You might think this is coming from your bank. And then inside the email, they will say that, realize that they probably would address you with your name and everything, just like the way Ecobank does, and say your 90 days of your password has exceeded its whatever, you need to change your password. Click on this link to change your password. You click on the link and then a website will come up looking exactly like the Ecobank website, very close to it. And then they will say, enter your previous password here, and then enter your new password there. What you are doing is you're actually giving them your current password for your Ecobank account, because they're asking you to enter your previous password. And your previous password is what you're currently using for your Ecobank account. And then you probably enter the previous password, and then you enter your new password you're trying to change it to, and then you click on change, and maybe it will tell you, oh, the system has an issue. Come back maybe in a few hours to change your password because there's an issue with the system. And then you might think, oh, I'll come back to do this thing later. So you will just ignore it and then just move on with whatever you're doing. What you don't know you've done is you've actually given your EcoBank password to a cyber criminal. And that cyber criminal, all they need to do is just log into your account. And if there's money in your account, they can transfer it into the account and you're done. So we need to be very, very careful. And if you have a tool like this, if an email is coming from ecobank.org, not ecobank.com, the tool will tell you that the email that is coming to you is actually one that has spoofed an original email, which is ecobank.com. So be careful. At least this tool will give you that warning. So if you're not too careful or you are not too smart about these things, at least this tool will bring that up to you and you'll begin to think twice. It will now give you an opportunity to even look at it again to make sure that is the EcoBank that I know, is their website really .org or .com? Now you're asking yourself that question because you perhaps never paid attention to that. But because this tool has actually given you that insight, you're now going to be asking yourself that question. If you that the email that is coming to you is actually coming from an efficient place, then you now know that if it hadn't been for the tool, you probably may have given out your password to a cyber criminal. These cyber criminals would have actually made justice to your bank account. So that is the point I wanted to put across. Now let's check if the email made it through. Okay, so you can see. So the email finally made it through, and I said I called it Happy Independence Day. And as you can see it here, it was actually allowed to go through. So the email was actually delivered successfully, as you can see right here. And if I go into my inbox, I should see that email coming through. And rather, it says what? Ghana is happy, as I said. And because I allowed it, it's saying that this sender is trusted. Because inside the system, I allow that this sender should be able to send emails to me. You are seeing that there's a banner here that's saying that this sender is trusted, meaning that this person who's sending the email to me is somebody that we can trust, because inside the Sophos tool, we have allowed that person to be able to send emails to us. So there's no two ways about the person. We don't even have to think whether the person is a malicious person or not. That brings me to the end of my presentation today. Any questions for me? Right, if there are no questions, Shafiu, you may take the floor then.
Okay, well, thank you very much for this all-important presentation. And we've really learned a lot from this presentation. But guys, the ocean is here. The boss himself is here. Just bring out the questions. Just ask those questions that you've been keeping in your bags so that we all know. Just ask the questions. But if there are no questions for now, I can leave the floor to Madam Janet to also come in for some few minutes. Then we'll see what we can do next. So, Madam Janet, if you are here, you can take over.
All right, Shafiu, thank you so much. I'd like to thank you to our boss. We are truly honored to have you for taking time out of your busy schedule and joining us in here. And to the entire house, I'd love to say thank you for joining us today. All our in-house, our students, past and current, and all our attendees. Thank you for joining us today. So for the purpose of our first timers, we are SoftAfric, a leading IT and cybersecurity company. All right, so are you ready to level up your cybersecurity skills and protect your organization from evolving online threats? Introducing the online 4-month weekend SoftAfric Cybersecurity Plus course. So join us for an exclusive online course where we delve into the world of threat intelligence, equipping you with the knowledge and tools necessary to stay ahead of cyber criminals. Our expert instructors will guide you through comprehensive modules covering a wide range of topics, including cyber threat landscape analysis, welfare analysis and reverse engineering, cryptography and secure communication, security operations and incident response, and much more. But that's not all. At SoftAfric, we go beyond just providing knowledge. Here are a few or some of the perks you'll enjoy from our Cybersecurity Plus course. We help our students build their resume, prepare them for interviews, support our newly hired on the job, internationally recognized certification, mentorship from cybersecurity experts, exclusive access to SoftAfric's Resource Hub or state-of-the-art lab, and real-world projects to bolster your portfolio. With flexible weekend sessions, you can pursue this course without disrupting your busy schedule. So whether you're an IT professional looking to enhance your expertise or a business owner safeguarding your assets, this course is tailored to meet your needs. Unlock the secret of cybersecurity with SoftAfric, a trusted name in the industry. Don't miss this opportunity to sharpen your skills and become a cybersecurity champion in just 4 months. Register now for the online 4-month weekend SoftAfric Cybersecurity Plus course and take the first step towards securing a safer digital future. Don't wait, spaces are limited. Visit our website at portal.softafric.net now to learn more and secure your spot. Your digital security starts here with SoftAfric. Subscribe, follow, and connect to our various social media handles. You can find us on LinkedIn, on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Like and share our content. And so today's session, which happens to be TIS, our Threat Intelligence Seminar, happens every Wednesday, same time, 12 Eastern Standard Time or 5 Greenwich Meridian Time. You can join in there or join in here to learn more about what happens with cyber criminals and cybersecurity. Also, we have an orientation session every Friday at 1:00 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time. You can join in there to learn more on what happens in our course. So thank you so much for joining us today. And for all the folks in Ghana, happy Independence Day. And to others, thank you for joining us. Have a great rest of day. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you same time next week. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.